The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Media Mash, a roundtable of Cowboys insiders dropping wisdom and offering sizzling takes on the current state of your Dallas Cowboys. Now, your host, Steve Dennis.
Well, hello again to all of you. Proud, fired up, happy individuals that make up Cowboys Nation. And thanks for tuning in to Media Mash this Wednesday, heading to NFL week number 5. Live from the SWBC studio. Hi there, I am Steve Dennis. On this Wednesday, as we get busy looking ahead to week number 5 in the New York Football and Giants, Clarence E. Hill Jr. of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram right here. John Machota from The Athletic right there, and his podcast. And Rob Phillips with all Dallas Cowboys media. You can read him, you can hear him. We are gathered again, another win, kind of more of the same. I don't think we need to rehash the game that much. We will sneak into it because we have some stuff happening. And I think to begin with here, fellas, we need to wave goodbye to Mr. Clear-Eyed View and wonder why the when, how much sense we need to make of it. Clarence, would you like to go first on Jalen Smith leaving the fold after 5+ years, on his 6th year, actually?
I mean, there thoughts all over the place, but the only surprise, I guess, is the timing. I mean, if you look at the situation, most people thought that if it was going to happen, it would happen before the season, just based on the makeup of the team. And he, the Cowboys, clearly his role was reduced. You look at his contract. He doesn't play special teams. So you would thought he's not going to play special teams. Veteran linebacker, backup linebacker, you have to play special teams. The emergence of Micah and what they're doing, it's not a surprise that he's no longer with them. It's a surprise that it happened now.
Yeah, I completely agree with that part of it, is the timing. The thing I keep going back to is at the end of the year when he was asked, specifically if you think you're going to be back, and he was just stunned that he'd even be asked that, like watch the film type, Well,
he was back.
And so
sounds like something he'd say.
Can I get to my point?
He was back.
Can I get to my point?
Yeah.
I let you talk.
Okay. Hey,
so anyway,
he was.
Sounds like the media room.
The thing I take away from that is that, so after that happened, after those words were said, there was a new defensive coordinator hired. And that defensive coordinator said that the first thing he was going to work on was he was going to go back and watch all the film and all the tape of the previous Cowboys defense. And after he got done doing that, the most significant offseason signing was at linebacker, Keanu O'Neal, and their most significant addition in the draft was Micah Parsons. Actions speak louder than words, and the actions were that he watched that film and that it wasn't the Pro Bowl type linebacker that I think Jalen used to be, and Jalen probably still thinks that he is. And it was just clear that they were moving in another direction. And now I did not think that they would get part ways with him this season. I thought that they would continue to have him on the roster, but I didn't think there was really any way he was going to be back after this season. I think that they were ready to move on there. But the timing of it is certainly, I don't think anybody expected that.
Yeah, I said this morning. It's like his legacy here is complicated, and so are the reasons why he was let go. It's complex. It's not just because the timing makes it weird. And I think it's a double-edged sword. It's like he's playing half the snaps he used to, and there's this injury guarantee floating out there for next year that the Cowboys had to weigh in terms of risk. Like, if he gets hurt, we're on the hook for $9 million next year, and he's not a starter, and he's not playing special teams. They had to weigh that decision. So it was a weird situation, and it's a weird legacy that he's got because it's a great story overall.
Yes,
it just didn't end well.
And we'll get to that. It is an interesting story, and we'll discuss his legacy. To me, everybody is saying kind of the same thing. In terms of the timing right now, my thought on that is they're getting closer to that March physical in case of injury. which would be 5.5 months or 6 months. So what kind of an injury would you have to suffer to cost him $9 million not to make that March physical? The closer you get, the smaller the injury could be, I think. So to me, the countdown on that, they're keeping an eye on. But anyway, put that aside for a minute. I do want to make this point. I'll just be more direct with it. The thing that I love about it is he simply isn't good enough anymore. The team has gotten better. And that's the bottom line. Dan Quinn doesn't want him on the field anymore. He's got better options, and that's a great thing for the Cowboys right now. I do think it's a cold move, a colder move than Jerry would normally make, especially since he's in love with Jalen Smith. And second-round draft pick, nobody else wanted him. Jerry wanted him. Jerry propped him up. He's going to be my guy. So this was hard for Jerry. But I do think and I want to run this by you guys because I think it's kind of important, at least in my mind.
That's the key.
Have we hit a new sort of Cowboys moment in time here where maybe they're going to be a little more cold-blooded? They're going to be more into trying to win than letting guys hang around that really have no business hanging around.
Well, I mean, I think it's always been a business, and there are some people. Jerry's had some pet cows, but they've been cruel and ruthless in cutting some people. They cut T.O. on a napkin at a party. I mean, they move when it's time to move away. They move away. I mean, they cut Larry Allen. They cut Emmitt Smith. They've cut a lot of greater players.
DeMarcus Ware.
They cut DeMarcus Ware.
They cut Des Bryant without really any other option.
Yeah, they've cut greater players in Cowboys history than Jalen Smith. So I don't think this is the referendum on it. Yeah, the Cowboys getting ready to be ruthless and cut people, but I think that it's complicated, but there are a lot of factors. The fact that he's not good enough, we knew that from day one. He's not one of their best players. That's why he's not starting. They did recruit over him.
Day one, when's day one?
In training camp.
Day one of this year. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Gotcha.
What I'm saying, you understood that was part of it, that he wasn't going to be one of their best players. That's why they reduced his role. And then the fact that he's not playing special teams, that also put the target on your back. You cannot bring all these guys, to the game, and your backup linebackers not playing special teams. Everybody else is playing special teams. He's not playing special teams. You also have to consider the fact that they got guys coming back. They need roster spots. You got to find a way. The other guys you're using, the other guys you're playing, you need roster spots for all these guys coming back. And they're going to be coming back soon. And the fact that they're going to be coming back, and then you got the injury thing, let's not mess around and he get hurt. It's not about March. It's about he could get hurt in practice. He could get hurt next week. Now, that's offset by the fact that he's never been hurt since he's played. But let's not play with it now. And then you have to understand how they're playing. As much as you like the current linebacker, everybody keeps talking about, well, this is about LVE or this is about wanting to play the rookie Jabril Cox. It's also about the fact that the Cowboys are going to use their safeties as linebackers. They like their safeties.
Jerron Kearse isn't coming off the field.
Yes, when I talk to people I talk to today, they're going to use their safeties as linebacker, which is what they've done, especially on passing
Which
down.
means a lot of two linebackers on the field.
Yes,
not three.
and so it's not, so it's not just about Cox and those guys. It's about those safeties. Their safeties are becoming some of the better parts of their team. They have a strong core of safeties. And you get Donovan Wilson back to go with, Kearse and Hooker and Crazy Casey, you're not going to say Kazi.
Yeah.
That's a strong group there. They want to be able to use those guys, especially with Kearse covering linebackers. So it's a lot of things.
Well, and then the other part, too, is, and you hit on Jabril Cox, it is also that there was a time here where you believed, and I certainly believe the front office, mainly Jerry Jones, believed that, you need your DeMarcus Lawrence out there, your Jalen Smith, your Leighton Vander Esch, these proven guys. Well, Dan Quinn has showed in a very short period of time, no, you don't. I can do next man up. I can bring in these guys that are on one-year deals. I can bring in these young kids like Oso Digizua, Micah Parsons, and have this big impact. Trayvon Diggs looking like one of the best corners you've had in the last 20 years. You can do all these things, pretty quickly, and that probably also was one of the things that with like a Jerry Jones is looking at like, yeah, you know what? I don't think that we do necessarily have to have Jalen Smith in this roster. We are bringing these guys in, and they're making these immediate impacts right away. That wasn't always the case here, and so I think that also probably sped this process along as well.
And I do think the timing again, it could have been a nice move by the Now, they were waiting for some guys to be ready to come back.
Right.
But Jalen may find a gig somewhere.
Oh, he will find a gig.
Instead of going to the bench, you want to go ahead and let him have an opportunity to go somewhere. Somebody will like him. He carries a reputation, some good, some bad, but he has a bit of a reputation. I think it may be the weakest here at Frisco in Texas than it is across the league. But let's talk about his legacy a little bit. I mean, it is a very odd one. In fact, I would say that maybe one of the oddest that has come along in a while. You know, what's interesting is I was remembering back to when he got hurt in that Fiesta Bowl, Notre Dame, Ohio State. He got hurt on the flukiest play. It was a read option to Zeke. JT kept it. And it was him and Taylor Decker, who plays for Detroit now, right guard for Ohio State at the time. They were having a little battle in the backfield at the back end of the play, and Decker pushed him. He just pushed him, and Jalen tried to keep his feet, and it was a horrible injury.
Some of the
I asked him one time.
happen that way. They're just
yeah,
freak.
It was a freaky thing. You would think, Notre Dame's playing Ohio State. He must have got rocked. No, he was trying to maintain his balance after Decker just kind of cheap shot pushed him. But anyway,
one time in the locker room, I asked him like when all like the group of us left, and it was just off the record. I was like, they were about to play the Lions, and I was like, is there any ill will at all with you and Taylor Decker because of that? And he was like, no, honestly, there's not. Like, I think it's just it was an accident. I don't like hold any ill will. I have nothing against him. Like, it's fine. We've moved on from it. I don't think that he said that they didn't talk or anything like that, but he genuinely didn't seem like he really cared.
Well, and you talk about his complicated legacy. I think that, to me, what'll make you laugh and make you cry, Jalen accepted the injury as part of football, okay? Whether it was a cheap shot, you called it a cheap shot, I don't remember. But
it was a bit of a cheap push.
He accepted the injury part of football. Even if it was a push, you don't expect that type of injury, okay? And the thing that, to me, sometimes get lost with Jalen is that nobody thought he would play again. This was a catastrophic injury. This was an injury with nerve damage. I remember him walking around with a drop foot, and certainly the Cowboys took a chance, and he gets deemed because the Cowboys took a chance on him. Then the Cowboys paid him, and now all of a sudden he gets criticized because the Cowboys took a chance on him and paid him, and all that other stuff. He didn't draft himself. He didn't pay himself, but his mindset of not listening to the noise and coming back. I remember when that first camp, he had drop foot, and he was out there. You're like, this guy's never going to. I mean, you just watch him walk and whatever else. And again, there are teams that took him off the board, think he would never play again. The fact that he was able to come back and play spoke to his mindset. Cowboys
did him a great favor. Not only did they draft him, they gave him $35 million in guaranteed money, but he was an exciting player for us in the media and fans because, they were waiting for the nerve to fire, and it did fire.
But it never really fired.
Well,
so that's the problem is that he was
fired,
okay.
But then it went out quickly.
Yeah. But the problem is that he was going to be a top 5 pick. Okay?
Probably, yes.
He never got to that level.
No.
It was never going to get
But he was pretty good in 2018.
He was a good player in 2018. He was good.
And in training camp when we were watching him, he looked
I know, but everybody thought
different.
he's going to be Ray Lewis now. He's going to be that guy, this physical guy. He was never going to be that guy.
I think it was more the combination with him and Leighton coming in that year as a rookie, where it was like, man, this is a pretty good duo right here.
It's a good point.
And let's build off of that.
But again, as I said, that's what often happens around here.
But they did show some signs.
They showed signs.
It wasn't just to make this up like, hey, this sounds like a fun story. They showed signs.
No, they showed signs. But
Singletary and Ray Lewis. I'm just saying it was a good combo.
there was talk about them being Singletary, Ray Lewis, Byron Irk. I mean, they were given, these guys are going to be the top linebacker duo in the league.
Well, maybe the Forward Star Telegram wrote that, but
no.
Well, I may have thought it.
I know you did because you already got a tight end, been a top 5 tight end in the league.
Hey, you got to keep your eye on show.
Then he started dropping balls on on you last week. I thought about you.
You better get on the bandwagon.
When he couldn't get into the end zone at the one, I said, yeah, top two
But
right
here's
there.
the other thing about Jalen real quick, and then we'll change the subject. He got weird, too. He got weird. He got worried about his brand. He did some weird stuff on the field. He got so into his investments and clear-eyed view, and all of a sudden he became a guy that even fans kind of quit rooting for.
No, absolutely. I agree with
Twitter
that.
went out
They
of
quit.
control
They quit
on
rooting
him.
for him, but it was just a story in the paper today. Not the paper, but I don't know if the Athletic. Somebody did a story on John Bostic, for Washington, who has all these rental houses and has there are a lot of players who do business off the field. Jalen's business off the field is not the reason why he didn't play well on the field, but too often people link the two. You were saying he got weird about. He didn't get weird. He was just doing what he did out the field. You cannot say that Jalen didn't work hard. You don't come back from an injury to think he did not work hard and didn't care, and he just wasn't a good for. He couldn't move the way he could move.
I think some of it is the celebrations, the swipes after certain plays that drove fans crazy. Here, but to your point, because you said that clear eye view and the approach that got him back, the joy that he's playing with,
make you laugh and make you cry.
And he's been we asked him about that in the past, and he's like, "That's just how I love to play." But it rubbed fans the wrong way.
Because he wasn't playing well.
Twitter things just compound and it snowballs.
But I'm just talking about his fact that he got weird with his stuff. He didn't get weird with his off the field stuff. He was doing what he was supposed to do off the field. There's nothing wrong with that.
And he's a joyful guy. Everybody loves him. He's a wonderful human being. But then he got his money, and then he wasn't very good. And anytime that happens, Marion Barber,
that was the link.
Name you a million guys.
Yeah, but Marion Barber clearly has some issues physically that caused him to decline, and that's my problem. But you should know better. You should not link Marion Barber getting paid to Marion Barber not playing well, and that means he didn't care anymore. You know what Marion Barber's going through. Clearly, there was some stuff that's going on there. Okay, we should not, as a media person, I understand when fans do it, but for media to say Jalen got paid, now Jalen doesn't want to play. Jalen, that arc was going to always be that arc and go the other way. It's not Jalen's fault that the Cowboys stupidly paid him.
All right, well, real quick, let me clean this up because Clarence is coming after me, I think.
Yes, you tried to link Marion Barber getting paid to Marion Barber's decline. That is wrong.
Hey, I was always on Marion Barber, and I admit it. But let me tell you why. Because he ran hard, and then he got paid, and then he quit running hard.
That's not
Period.
true. That's not true. That's not true.
I don't care what the issues are.
Oh, you don't care about CTE? You don't care what's going on? Have you seen Marion Barber lately?
That was a long time ago,
It was all.
Chill.
You don't even know how it affected him, Steve.
Can he still play the piano?
No, he cannot. You should check up on Marion Barber.
He quit playing hard.
He did not quit playing. That's not true.
All right, I want to change the subject here because, and I'm going to go after Chill here because I love it. and what it is Chill has covered his team for a very long time, and you can read his frustration in tweets sometimes. And he did it today, and it made me laugh.
Stop the drama?
Well, that's the stop. But Stephon Gilmore became available. Very clever by New England. They announced they were going to release him. Probably knew they would get some kind of compensation in a quick trade. What happened was Carolina got him for a 6th-round pick in 2023, and I will never understand that. When a guy is, but anyway.
You don't understand what part?
The fact that all he cost him, now they got to pay him, but all they had to give up was a 6th-round draft pick.
It's because they got to pay. They paid him his full salary.
I understand.
Well, you don't know the health either. Where he is, it's not like he's fully healthy either. There's some risk.
But it's also the full salary.
But back to Clarence. Yeah. As soon as he became available, Clarence tweets, Cowboys need to go get Stephon Gilmore if they really want to win this year. I loved it.
Let's go all in. Go all in.
So why didn't they?
I think that they were waiting for him to get cut. I don't think they wanted to pay his $15 million salary. They couldn't carry the trade means you have to carry his salary full. And I think that, I talked to some Cowboys people, they were going to be interested in him. They were going to, they were running the situation. They were going to certainly express some interest for him. But I think that they were waiting for him to get cut. And my point was, the problem is that I read the tweets from Adam Schefter, everybody, he's going to be cut. Okay, I wasn't putting together. They're putting that out there, the trial balloon to force a trade. So initially, when I said that, I said, okay, he was going to be cut. If he's a free, then the Cowboys need to go in on him as a free agent, and it's about who can convince him to come and get into a bidding war. But they need to commit to pursuing him as a free agent. I would not. They weren't going to trade for the $15 million annual contract. They don't have it under the cap right now.
Well, the number's $7 million for this year, and
they don't have that under cap.
And
right
the
now.
word came out that Gilmore even said that he would only ask for 5 of it to his new team. Now, worrying about his next contract is a different issue.
Right.
But if you can get Stephon Gilmore for $5 million for the rest of this season, even with the health concern, man, these are. I'm sure the Cowboys had a quick meeting or two about it this afternoon, as did every team in the league.
Yeah.
And Carolina got him. They've got more cap money than anybody else in the league. They're like over $19 million. So it was easy for them. They just brought in C.J. Henderson after losing Horn. It made sense. Plus,
and CJ's not
he's
good.
from the Carolinas,
right.
So he's coming home a bit. But the Cowboys, again, I hate to go back to yesteryear because I seem to do it a lot. The Cowboys used to make bold moves like this. They just don't anymore. Now, Amari Cooper was a bold move, so that one notwithstanding. This would have been a wonderful opportunity because you've got a little issue with Anthony Brown on the other side. You don't know for sure what Kelvin Joseph is going to be, if he's going to be healthy. $5 million and a 6th-round pick? Give me Stephon Gilmore, opposite of Trayvon.
Yeah, I don't have any issue with that. I think every Cowboy fan would agree with you. I don't see a major arguing point on that at all. I mean, I just
every team
obviously,
in the league's antennas were up.
Yeah, everybody should have went
Why
after
not
him.
more aggressiveness from this building? Or we don't even know. Maybe they did get aggressive.
No, if you're going to ask from that perspective, it's because that they do believe in the young guys. Like you and I sit here and go, I don't know about Kelvin Joseph. I don't think they feel that same way. You know, going after training camp, like going into when they returned back here, there was a lot of praise from the front office about Kelvin Joseph and what Kelvin Joseph can be. And he's back out there now and doing the resistance cord today during practice. So they could sit there and
counterpoint. He's a rookie. You only got Gilmore for a year, most likely.
But it does go back to their approach because, and I know every player is different, and Stephon Gilmore is a great player, but Jerry was asked specifically about Richard Sherman a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about now with Tampa, why weren't you in there? And he talked about progress stopping. Maybe that's the philosophy they're going. The other part of it, too, is he is 31. Gilmore's 31, and this is injury that's kept him out since December, and he's out for at least another couple weeks. You don't know what his status, what his health is like, and if he's a free agent, maybe that's different. You're able to maybe take a look. But
you can put some things in the contract.
Yeah.
If you're a free agent, I think they were hoping to work some things out as a free agent. You can put some roster bonuses in, game day bonuses in, based on health and all that other stuff. But I get what Jerry's saying. I want to play the young guys, but they're not playing the young guys. They're playing Anthony Brown. Okay, and if you really feel good about this team and where you're going this year, go all in. Put the chips all in.
I don't disagree with that.
Put the chips all in.
Not to mention what the young guys can learn from Stephon Gilmore in his season, especially a rookie.
Yeah, and as much let's be honest about it. As much as they say they love Kelvin Joseph, he's shown them nothing. We all watched training camp. He was not better than Wright in training camp or minicamp.
And not Anthony Brown either.
The one thing,
yes. So what I'm saying is, so you like his upside because you picked him as a 7th-round pick, but he's not showing you anything that say he's going to come and make that type of impact this year.
The one thing the Cowboys seem to lack, in my opinion, these days and maybe the last 15 years, is that ability to strike. See, right now, everything could not be on a better level. This team is off to a fabulous start. Everything looks good. They're winning the coaching battle. Everything looks good. Why not strike? Boom! That's what Jerry used to do. He would make he did it with Deion Sanders, make a ridiculous strike and put everybody on notice.
They did yesterday by cutting Jalen Smith. That was their strike. That sent the message.
Okay, how about
you didn't get that one loud and clear?
If that's a strike,
strike
2, boom!
But that was a good message that we feel the way we feel about the team where we're playing, and we believe in the guys that are coming back. So,
that's true.
So that was a bold move.
It was.
Cutting Jalen was a bold.
Well, they were going to do it again. Just
but you
win.
didn't know again. Let's just go back just for 1 second. It's a 17-game season. Okay, you got injuries or major. Jalen has never been hurt. Layden has. Okay, Keenan O'Neal just missed 2 games with COVID. He's not vaxxed. He could miss more. You've already you're using Micah like a mug at end and whatever else. I mean, there are reasons to me justifying why they kept him at the beginning of the season. They could have kept him. That's insurance for the rest of the season.
No, I don't think Dan Quinn wants him on the field anymore.
Again,
he's just
he doesn't. But what I'm saying is,
work.
it's only because you have other things. But I'm just saying that you could have justified doing that because you have these other issues out there.
All right, let's go to topic number 2. We'll take a quick little timeout. So our man Chris Beam, who produces this bad boy, he produces every single podcast from this studio.
Yeah, we slip him pizzas under the door. He's there all day.
He's just there all day, making sure everything goes fine. Coming up next, all right, we've seen 4 games. We all know the Cowboys are good. They've proven it against different teams, different defenses, different quarterbacks, different offenses. What are we thinking, each of us, that makes us think they may be really good? Next on Media Mash.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar. And a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. And a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Varilux for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Crizal for freedom from glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions in a single unique lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. Visit your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
Back to Media Mash.
All right, just in time for an update. Steve Dennis here, Rob Phillips there, John Machota there, Clarence E. Hill there. Update, Machota?
Yeah, Ian Rapport reporting that the Packers are in fact the likely landing spot for Jalen Smith. They are finalizing details.
See there. Good for him.
Going to a contender.
Is he going to start there?
Could have been a contender.
I think they're dealing with some injuries at linebacker, so he'll be in the conversation.
Speaking of them being a contender, do you know there are 12 teams in the NFL right now 3-1? And the Cowboys are one of them. 12 teams are 3-1. Do you think they're overly excited like everybody in North Texas and beyond is in Cincinnati? They're 3-1. Denver's 3-1. Are people going nuts over the Broncos? I mean, you can go Carolina. We already knew because they were undefeated. They're 3-1. All these teams are 3-1. Green Bay's 3-1.
It all comes down to the franchise quarterback, Steve. We talk about this all the time. If you have a franchise quarterback and you're 3-1, you feel like you have a chance.
Yeah. And they are excited in Cincinnati, probably, but you would never hear about it.
No.
You hear about it with the Cowboys,
right,
baby. All right, I want to do this. 4 games in. I want to go back to our very first Media Mash show. It was 2 days before the opener against Tampa. I can't remember who was on it with me. I know Chill was. Machota, I think you may have been too.
Yeah.
But we were talking about our biggest concern. This team had so many question marks flying around all over the place. And I want to revisit that a bit because in the middle of all this excitement, in the middle of Dak and Zeke and you know, Diggs, and it's just ridiculous. Zach Martin is playing out of his mind. Everybody's excited. They're 3-1. We can all agree 4 games is enough to know that this team is pretty good and is going to be good. But how are they going to be good enough to change the narrative around here? What's the one thing that you've seen, guy, position, whatever, since the position we were in before the season started? And I'm going to start because I was on that show saying it's the defensive line to me. To me, the defensive line was the entire key to this season because it was so bad last year. And it was the reason their defense was just horrible. And we had no idea. I can remember all of us agreeing. We didn't know what they were going to be. And here we sit after 4 games. 13 different of them have played. They've got 9 sacks.
Wasn't me.
Things are tumbling down. Wasn't that nice? Has that ever happened
in
the SWBC studio?
Just put them down there.
This makeshift studio.
Well, we can keep this one up. There we go. That's all it took.
Yeah,
we're good.
We'll see.
We're good.
See about that one.
Spending a lot of money around here, huh?
Well, the wind blew. The wind. Somehow we got a gust.
Sounds like AT&T Stadium. That wind was blowing those kicks away.
We've got Micah Parsons with 8 sacks, and quarterback pressures, and 2.5 sacks. He's a big part of it because of his versatility. You got the 2 third-round draft picks, Osa and now Chauncey, who jumps in. Nobody had any idea what he was going to be. You've got the great story of Randy Gregory, which I have been doubting for about 5 years. Is he finally paying off? Is his moment right now? And I still love the kid. Listening to him talk after the game, man, he's so cool and smart, and I'm happy for him, but I still, is this the moment? But that aside, the defensive line, they didn't have any pressure in the first game against Brady. Since then, man, that to me says DeMarcus Lawrence has been out, Armstrong's been out, Watkins inside has been out, Gallimore inside's been out. They get all these guys back. This D-line may be how they're going to be really good. Thoughts?
I'm going to go on the other side, and I'm going to steal from Ezekiel Elliot today. Zeke was asked basically about how when he came in the league in 2016, this team was built around him in the running game, and now that is completely flipped, and it's built around Dak and the passing game. And Zeke said, no, it's built around the offensive line, and we'll go as far as the offensive line can carry us. And I'm going to go with the offensive line because not only do you have this group right now without Lyle Collins playing well, and with Terrence Steele playing, I think, beyond anybody's expectations outside of Terrence Steele. Then you mix in what they've been doing with Connor McGovern in the run game, and he's certainly a guy that can step in if they need him there.
The Mac show?
Yeah. And then the fact that you're going to get Lyle Collins back, and if Biadasz can't work out at center, I think that you do have some other options there that you could possibly turn to. I think that there's good depth on the offensive line, and I do think this team will go as far as the offensive line can take him.
I would counter that real quick before somebody else jumps in. Haven't we known that the offensive line is pretty good when they're healthy the last 4 or 5 years?
Have they been healthy the last 4 or 5 years, though?
Off and on. But
the problem with that is that, just off the record, and from Cowboys brass off the record, they have 2 concerning hot spots on an offensive line, center and left guard, and it's an issue. It remains an issue. So to make a blanket statement, they're pretty good when they're healthy. They got 2 weak links that they are recognized, they understand that that's going to be an issue against good teams.
And
that's their problem.
But they have Lyle Collins coming back.
I'm just talking about center and left guard. And Lyle Collins coming back doesn't fix that.
Doesn't every team have that, though? You're not wrong.
I'm just
wrong,
telling
but
you,
doesn't every team have a couple spots where it's not? We're so used to this.
You don't want it to be center. You don't want to get run over when the point of attack.
I get that, but we're so used to this.
You can
line
literally
being
make that
so
argument
good
about every position on the offensive line.
Yeah.
If you have a weak left tackle, you can say it. If you have a weak right tackle, you can say that. Like, you can make it about whatever your weakest part is in the offensive line, you can make that
And
argument.
if it gets to a point, couldn't the Mac show
I don't know. They
play
haven't
some center?
They haven't
Absolutely.
done it. They haven't tried it. They haven't done it. Why didn't they do it in the spring? I don't know. Why didn't they do it in training camp? I don't know. Why we wait till the regular season to start trying Mac at center? That's an issue. I don't know. I think I would have started that. He played center in college. When he came in there, we talked about him playing center and guard being an option. But they didn't try him there in the spring.
I think he's one of those guys that played all positions.
No, but he played center and guard for most of the time at Penn State.
But I think he may have played some tackle, and I think he may have played left guard and right guard.
Yeah. So my issue or my questions or my concern is the pass defense.
No, we're not doing concern. We're doing the thing that you see that makes you think, Chill, that this can be really good. We already know it's good.
It wasn't a concern. That what you like about the team.
Yeah, what do you see that you're sitting up there at 3-1 and you're going, okay, this may be the reason this team can do something they've never done in your tenure, win 2 playoff games in a season?
Of course, Dan Quinn.
Say it again.
It's Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because I think it's easy to celeb to say Dak, and we think the offense is special, and it's been special at times. When the Cowboys have had good teams, they've been held back by their defense. And they still got players coming back. But what Quinn has done, how he's mixed and matched and played to player strength, I think he can be a weapon for the Cowboys.
All right, Rob.
I think it's
what's left.
Y'all took everything. I think it's
how about special teams?
Not special teams. I think it's if they can continue forcing takeaways on defense, and that's a tricky deal. It's not something you can get every single week, like you can score points every single week. But I just got reminded of when Trayvon got 5 interceptions. He tied Darren Sharper for the most in 4 games to start a season. Sharper was part of that 2009 Saints team that led the league in scoring and was like second in takeaways, and they won the Super Bowl. Like, if you have that combination, you have an offense this good, and you can give them a couple extra possessions a game, you're going to be really good. You're going to win damn near every game you play. Can they continue getting 2+ takeaways a game? That's the question.
Probably if they had Stefan Gilmore at their other corner spot, they probably could, couldn't they?
So you're predicting an onside kick in the Super Bowl?
Whoa. We're going that far to February? We're not going that far
Deep
yet.
dive there.
That's what happened.
That is what happened. But they're off to a good start in that regard. It's just we're so used to this team not being able to get those takeaways until they finally did down the stretch last year, and they've carried it over so far this year.
Yes. I think it's interesting. I was just checking. They're 26th after 4 games in total defense.
Yeah, pass defense.
I saw Daniel Jones say today that he thinks that when you watch Trayvon Diggs on tape, it's not like, I think from afar we think that he just goes after he's like, you can tell that he's picking and choosing his spots. Because if you're just going after every one and you're biting on everything, you can get burned.
Well, and Dak told you that. I mean, it's very specific. He said that there were certain things that Dak knew he could not get away with early with Diggs because he was smart enough not to let him.
Like a 5-yard stop route?
Whatever it is. But back to my point I was about to make, the defense statistically has not been that good. Pass defense is 31st. Overall defense is 26th. But, there's reasons for that. Number one, they're playing Brady and Herbert. And then they got big leads and just kind of let the other team throw it around a little bit on them.
It's a little misleading, but Dan did say they're giving up too many big plays still.
Yeah. They didn't let Carolina throw it around on them. Let's not do that. There was a pick that was dropped.
Well, what was their biggest lead? 33 to 14?
36.
Yeah. I think it was 33-14.
33-14, and then it was
36.
Then it was 33 to 21.
It was 36-14.
22, and then 36 to 22, right?
It was 33-14. Then they kicked a field goal to make it 36-14. Okay. That's when they came back.
There may have been a little questionable intensity at that point. Is all I'm saying. Everybody felt it that it was a blowout, and Carolina did what they were supposed to do. But my point is, to me, and I'm with you, when you got a +7 turnover ratio and you've got a defensive line that is helping that because they are getting pressure and they've been pretty good against the run at every level. And you're getting a crazy guy like Micah Parsons doing whatever he needs to do at whatever position he's playing that moment. And Diggs is off the charts. Defensive player of the week, defensive player last month. I mean, there's nobody better in the league right now defensively than him. All of that, no matter what the passing yards are, especially when you have this offense. We all kind of figured what the offense might be, didn't we? If Dak came back, and nobody mentioned that, by the way. The key that Dak A year later?
To Clarence's point, that's kind of the obvious one. I didn't just want to take like the lowest of hanging fruit on that. To your point, though, back on the defensive line, though, I wanted to add, if that's going to be the key, then you believe that Micah Parsons is staying as a pressure player, which I think we all should believe. Yeah. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because I did get the sense that when that Jalen Smith news broke last night, there were a lot of people that felt that, this means that Micah's just moving back to linebacker and he's going to stay playing as a traditional linebacker. And I don't see that happening. And I do think he'll continue to help on the defensive line. And so if that remains the case, then I can see where
Jerry on the radio yesterday.
Right.
Sometimes you got to listen to Jerry.
For sure. That was a good answer on Micah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
He almost kind of said it like, we're not going to be idiots here.
Yeah.
There's two positions, the shutdown corner and the pressure. And then he went up talking about Aaron Donald, who does it from the inside. Who saw that coming?
Right.
It's very rare to come from the inside.
And he said he wouldn't have taken Micah at 12 if Micah was just the linebacker.
And you and I, and maybe Clarence too, were standing right there after the press conference that night they drafted him, and he kept talking about pressure.
That's all he talked about.
Over and over again.
Pressure.
And you look at
pressure. Fully vaccinated. Pressure.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So,
but no, if you look into Jerry's history, since he's owned the team, bought the team, the highest they've drafted a true linebacker is Bobby Carpenter at 18.
Oh.
So, sorry.
They always drafted the wrong Buckeyes, except Zeke. It's a problem. Remember when they had like 6 of them on the team, Chill? Michael Wiley and your favorite offensive lineman? What was his name?
Which one are you talking about?
You hated him. He was not a good man.
What are you talking about?
Come on.
Tyson Walter?
Tyson Walter.
Where are we going
I
back?
don't hate anybody.
Some of the stuff he said to the media? Come on now.
What did he say?
I don't remember any of that. I just know.
I don't hate anody. Anybody.
Let's just put it this way. It made me question the small town in Ohio he grew up in. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But it... Let's talk about the pressure just real quick. Just hold a hand out and count. DeMarcus Lawrence is going to come back. Dorrance Armstrong is going to come back. This rotation that they've been talking about for a multitude of years. Osa inside.
Gallimore.
Chauncey, Gallimore, Micah.
Maybe Tristan Hill at some point.
Boy, I forgot all about him.
I mean, he's on PUP for another couple weeks minimum.
If they have a team that all of a sudden, and Randy Gregory, very interesting to me, he said something that I've never thought of after the game. You guys all heard it. He said that they operate as one. We're operating as one, 4 as one. See, I've always thought that getting to the quarterback was an individual thing. The sack was an individual stat. And he's talking about we do it as one. And I got to think about that. I've never heard anybody say that.
That was a Marinelli thing.
That's part. Yeah, that's the mindset. Yes, they do operate as one. It's what you do to rush lanes, all this stuff. It is a joint pass rush. I don't know why you haven't heard that before.
From a player. See, because most guys want to dance when they get a sack, but Randy Gregory is talking about he had 2 sacks, and we're starting to feel connected, and we're doing it as one. He didn't take the credit. He's saying that we are bringing this, and if they bring more guys into it and just make that normal.
Well, on his first sack, I think the key to that play was that they went 5 defensive linemen if you count Micah Parsons in the middle. They put Micah Parsons over the center.
He was mugging the A-gap, huh?
Well, don't do this right now, Chill. and then so you had him in the middle, and then you still had Randy out there with Chauncey Golston, with Osa, and Terrell Basham. So you had like 5 legitimate pass rushers there, and because of that, the offensive line had to kind of pick and choose, and Micah Parsons took on 2 guys.
Can I have an aside?
Oh my God! Don't do this.
Well, just let the listener in on it, whatever it is.
The listeners don't want any of this. It's not even that interesting.
There was a reporter in training camp who saw Micah Parsons mugging the A-gap.
Go ahead and say it.
And tweeted that they're playing Micah Parsons at defensive tackle. No, he was just blitzing from the A-gap. He was not playing defensive tackle.
Great story.
I'm trying to think of who you're picking on. I can probably guess. But I'll wait till take a break.
Tell us more. It was so good.
Yeah, quick question on Gregory, though. Again,
my humor.
I always love the discussions that have been around for a long time, and we always take positions on them. And sometimes maybe you're in the wrong position. I hope I am with Randy. Jerry had a wonderful comment, again, on his radio visit this week, where he said that the issues that have bothered Randy, the thing about him is it colors you, the perception of you, when that's not who you are at all. And, all that stuff doesn't matter to me. I've always said you can't trust him. Jerry's been way too patient with the guy. He's never helped the team, ever. And he's been here for 5-6 years. Do you guys think that this is finally going to be the Randy Gregory payoff? And was it worth it, if it is?
Yeah, I think it's worth it because what were you really like? It wasn't like he was taking up a roster spot.
He was a second-round draft pick. You could have got another guy.
Okay, but who knows if that player would even have been anything special? It's not like he was holding them back from having like Von Miller or something. Like, who knows what they would even had there? And it's a late second-round pick. Like, who?
It was pick 60.
Yeah,
right?
Who knows what you even got? I don't think that they really risked a lot. It's not like he was an issue in the locker room, and you're just kind of looking around like, Jerry, how long are you going to keep going with this? This is a problem. He's never been that guy. And so I don't think it's ever was an issue to that point. And I do think that you could be getting the dividends could be paying off now because he certainly looks like a player who, he's dealing with the knee issue that he said that it's just going to be something he has to put a little WD-40 on all season.
I don't know why Chill's laughing, but I'll just say real quick. They were patient because everything you just said about he's a great guy, that's what they see. And the issues he's had off the field, Jerry has said it, medical condition, not something that he's doing wrong. He's a bad guy, all that stuff. And they were patient with that, and he's worked through it to his credit.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. I mean,
so patient that the NFL is probably changing the rules completely to where everything that he got in trouble with is no longer an issue.
Yeah, but again, I mean, I don't know if you're saying regrets or whatever else. I mean, certainly when they drafted him, they expected him to play immediately.
Yeah, they did.
They expected to play. They didn't expect all the suspensions and him not playing all those years. Certainly they regret that he didn't get to play and participate and have impact on those teams.
I think Jason Garrett thought that was a possibility. If you just go back and watch his face when they make that pick, I think he knew that there was a chance.
I'm talking about the coach. Ownership, though, I guess, what he's talking about.
You're saying he wasn't the right kind of guy to Jason?
Probably not when they made that pick. I don't think he was on board
But
with
on
that.
those teams, they thought they had a chance to win, and they could have used this Randy or that type of Randy who they thought they were getting to play opposite. But in hindsight, you do like the way he's playing now. And I think that someone asked the other day, are you going to get, is he just scratching the surface? I think it was Babe asked the press conferences, everything he's been through, and he really hasn't had to, doesn't have a lot of wear and tear. I mean, this could be the baseline. He could get better and better. I mean, he's only scratching the surface of what he could be.
I guarantee you, and I'm only going to use Machota because you guys in the Athletic, your features seem to be a little longer than others. Or I could say the same thing for Jory and USA Today. It seems that way to me. I'm not a writer. But he's one of those stories, the 2 weeks of the Super Bowl, Cowboys are there in L.A., and somebody's writing a huge feature on the wonderful trip that Randy Gregory has been on.
If the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, every starter probably has it. But I know what you're saying.
And
I agree
he
with
will
you.
explode as that guy.
And he's a great personality.
Especially if he's got 13 sacks.
Right.
Yeah, come on.
Michael
got to get some. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence got to get some. I mean, let's not put 13 sacks.
Let's get DeMarcus back on the field.
Let's get him back on the field. I'm just saying, but listen, when you get to the Super Bowl, and I've done the Super Bowl, there's so many great stories.
I've done a Super Bowl.
Several Super Bowls, but there's so many great stories. I mean, Zeke is going to be a great story. Dak is going to be a great story. CD, Amari, the offensive lineman.
Dan Quinn, Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore.
Are you putting him there?
Schultz.
He put him there. I mean, I'm just saying that, to say that there are going to be a lot of there would be if that happened, but we're 4 games into the season.
Chill missed that. Repeat that.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz, baby. Write it, Chill.
Listen, I thought about you immediately when that ball started hitting the ground.
You just keep an eye on.
Starts hitting the ground. Number 2 tight end in the league.
He could be special. But speaking of the number one story, here we are talking about a Super Bowl. See, we all do it.
You did it.
We all do
it. You started it.
They're 3-1.
It's
12
fun.
teams are 3-1.
It's fun.
But that big story would be number 4. There's no question about it. Let's wrap it up. I loved when he said one simple word after the game when he was asked a question. Why?
Who asked him that question?
You did.
Okay.
About bringing up the Giants a year ago. Let's discuss that next on Media Mash.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. Before you can park yourself in front of the game, park yourself in a John Deere and power through your chores. Our Land Run package is a 1025R, 25 horsepower tractor with a loader, rotary cutter, and a box blade for $229 a month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay, no surprises. So don't miss another kickoff.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now let's get to work.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Back to Media Mash.
Man, thank you all so much for tuning in to Media Mash on this Wednesday. We're here from 4 to 5 on Wednesdays and Thursdays, so tell the rest of Cowboys Nation to listen in. We've got Rob Phillips with us, John Machota, Clarence E. Hill Jr. My name is Steve Dennis, and it was Clarence that made Dak look him right in the eye and say, why? Because you asked him that you said something like everybody is going to make a big deal about a year later, Giants, you on the field, the tears, the horrific injury, and here we are again. Giants coming to AT&T Stadium. What is it, like 364 days exactly later?
Again, the NFL did this on purpose.
You think?
Of course.
The NFL did this on purpose.
They're sitting there going, okay, let's see, Dak got hurt on what day again?
Yes.
And let's put the Giants.
Yes.
Man, do you believe that, Machota?
No, I think that's going a little
I don't either.
The NFL did this on purpose.
What are the odds? What are the odds?
Stop it. The NFL did this on purpose. When they did the schedule in May or whatever April, they knew. And those schedules, they know what they're doing. And they did this on purpose.
It seems pretty sick. I mean, when you're involving an injury,
it kind of does.
It's one thing if you're like, hey, they set it up so that the Bucs would play the Patriots and Tom Brady could get that passing record while he's going against the Patriots, his former team. That's one thing. Like to mess with like an injury like that. If you're right on this, it's pretty sick.
I don't think it's came out in May. I think at that point they knew.
Weird though.
It was after he signed his contract. Everybody said he was going to be healthy. I don't think that they knew he was going to be on the field. They expected him to be on the field.
Yeah.
And they set this up. Again, when I set it up to Dak, it's because it is what we're talking about. That's what we do.
Well,
it's an anniversary.
I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming. I would never blame the media.
And he said, I would be naive not to think about it because I know that's what you're going to talk about.
No, what he said was, if you guys are going to talk about it,
and we are,
then I'm going to have to think about it. And it made me wonder how difficult that is for him to do. Right now, when everything is going so great and he's playing great, he's got no issues with the team. He's just, boom, we're going forward. And here comes this story where you got to take him back and take the whole team back. I thought it was very interesting.
We started last week, though.
That Kellen Moore had to revisit the injury. Not interesting. It was ironic that Dak became available because of Kellen Moore's injury in training camp. And now Kellen is talking about, yeah, that was hard. And McCarthy had a great comment about it. I'm not saying it's not a great media angle. What I'm saying is, isn't it difficult for Dak to have to go through that this week?
I don't think it is, because for me, and I think Dak probably feels the same way, that was week one. That was Ndamukong Suh jumping on you when you're sitting there trying to complete a pass. Like, when you got past that, like, the team that you're playing against, the week, if it falls on the same date, those are just different jerseys and that. I think the getting on the field, being able to take hits, making throws past that, not to mention that, like, watch Dak last week. Like, two of the best plays that he made was when he ran out of bounds. Right. Like, wow, what was he going to get if he stayed in bounds and fought? Like, 3 other yards? Like, who cares? The fact that he had both those big runs, they were huge plays in the game when they happened, and he got out of bounds, and it was fine. And I think that he has moved past that, so because of that, I don't think he's going to look at it that way.
He's so mentally tough. I don't see him worrying about stuff like that. And if there's any, I mean, okay, it happened at AT&T Stadium. Well, he's played 2 games at home now. He probably, maybe it crossed his mind the spot where it happened, but he's played 2 games there already.
He's thrown for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think he's good.
This week. I'm saying.
He loves the Giants.
This week.
He loves the Giants.
Listen.
Is that because Jason Garrett's on the other side, Clarence? Build this story up for us.
I think it's great that is everything he's done. He's answered all the questions about.
By the way, guys,
injury.
Clarence just stood up, so this is about to be profound.
No, my back is hurting, man.
You are. You're the only one in here older than me. Wait a minute. Are you older than me?
No, you're older than me.
Damn it.
But I mean, I'm just saying he answered all the questions. The one thing he hadn't done for much of the year, at least greatly, was run. Then the week before the Giants game, he's running like the Dickens. Like, I'm back. I'm back before the Giants game, and it's great. And listen, I'm old. We started last week asking his teammates questions. Then we're asking everybody. People have called family members. He knows these questions are coming about the anniversary and where they were and what they thought, and going through their minds. So yes. And he answered on Hard Knocks. We revisited it. So I don't think he showed his scars. Yeah. So I mean, I think he can handle the questions and handle all of that stuff.
Absolutely,
and he will be the first one to tell you.
I think you're missing my point.
He will be the first one, as you went back. He will be the first one to tell you that every starting job he's got is because somebody got hurt. It happened in high school, happened in college. Happened in pros. The starter got hurt, he took the job. So he understands the injuries are part of the game.
If Kellen Moore didn't get hurt, do you think he's still the starting quarterback?
Romo, I was talking about Romo, but yes.
Sorry. Well, hey, speaking of that Kellen Moore moment, real quick, it's one of the greatest things that I remember in my time. I was doing the show on ESPN with Mark Friedman then, Frito, and I was standing by the tent when they brought Kellen Moore by. And then, remember, Dak did a media session over there after that practice. Frito was a part of that and came back and told me and said, that may be the most impressive young man I have ever stood in front of. He was in love with Dak after that little session with Kellen Moore getting hurt. He got practice time, and now he's the backup quarterback. And to me, that was very telling. First, that Frito picked up on it, and second, that it's proven to be true. But I'm not that worried about Dak not handling it. It's just weird karma. It's just to bring up maybe one of the top 5 worst moments in the kid's life, and here comes. So what? It's the team that it happened against.
Clarence
it's just weird karma.
Really,
week.
This guy going to talk about media questions and bringing up stuff. I've been here with him since '97.
It's sort of like you're going in for surgery and, hey, you're going to miss me when I die. Don't say that. You don't say that. I mean,
no, it wasn't like that.
It's just weird karma.
It's not. It's a celebration of sorts. I think that most people look at
celebration.
I said of sorts. A celebration of sorts, and I said
what he's done since.
Yes, and I've said Dickens because I didn't want to curse, so you have to use Dickens. You got
thanks.
But it's a celebration of sorts. It's like what happened and where he is now. Even the most ardent Dak fan observer outside of his family did not see this coming. When you saw him on that field, everything that went through all of our minds, he's tears coming down his eyes, and we know what he went through with the contract. We know what he went through with his brother dying of suicide and his own depression. And You just felt for the kid, and just a full 365 days later, he's playing out of his mind, the best football of his career.
That's true.
It's something to talk about. I'm sorry.
I would just rather be quiet about it and let it pass.
It's an eerie date. I mean, you're right. You're right about that. But look, he's in a profession where there's people that are commenting on everything he's doing every moment. And so he knows that's part of the deal.
I thought it was kind of interesting that Brett Favre, he has his weekly radio show on Sirius XM. He talked about how he played with like a broken finger and how he thinks with Dak that maybe that injury helped him kind of, because of what Clarence mentioned, all the stuff he was dealing with, where he could just focus in on, I'm like every day the rehab, like I got to do this today, I got to do this, and it kind of takes your mind away from a lot of the contract, other things going on in your life, stuff like that. That overcoming that might have actually made him even stronger.
The New York Giants, game number 5, Sunday at 3:25 at AT&T Stadium. Cowboys are one of 12 teams that are 3-1. They will more than likely get to 4-1. Giants are going to get hurt in this game. They're going to smoke them. Dak loves pounding the Giants. I mean, it's his favorite team.
You don't think the Giants have a little momentum coming off that Saints win?
I like that quarterback. I'm telling you, I see why they've been patient with that kid. I think he can play, and someday he may be something. But
I think Mike McCarthy, I thought this when we were sitting in the post-game press conference with Mike McCarthy. I thought that for him, he probably loved that the Giants came back and won that game because it gives you something that you can sit there and tell the team, as opposed to the Giants come in there, let's say they lose that game, get blown out by the Saints, and you're just kind of like, no, guys, we can't sleep on these guys. And everyone's like, yeah, okay, coach, whatever. But the fact that they came back and played the way they did against the Saints is one of those things that I'm sure he was like, good. Now we got some. These are some things we got to worry about.
Prior to that, it was like, is Joe Judge, who's calling plays? Is JG going to keep calling? I mean, it was
Saquon Barkley starting to look a little bit like his old self.
It sounded like a mess up there if you read the papers 2 weeks into the season.
Well, that's part of the fun. They are 1-3.
They're going to kick giant booty.
I agree. Closing thought tonight, though, I found it in, I don't know if you guys follow the NFL power rankings that come out every week and everybody does them. The Cowboys are anywhere from 5 to 11 in them, and the other 3 NFC East teams are between 25 and 32.
The NFC East is bad.
When's the last time that happened? One team is way up here, and the other 3 are way down there.
Probably several times. Like when the Cowboys went 13-3 in Dak's rookie year, the NFC East was bad.
I went Louisiana Swamp on you for a minute there. For some
you
reason.
did.
I'm not quite sure.
I'm like, you're not from around here like that.
Didn't they go undefeated in the Changala years?
Yeah,
something like that.
I mean, I've seen several times
in division. Yes. One.
And they did it. I think
and then he got fired.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to go. Thanks for letting me talk a little Cowboys with you guys again. Tomorrow, Machota's back. Jory Epstein from USA Today will join us, along with the great Nick Eatman. 4 o'clock is when we stick our tee in the ground and go. That's our foursome tomorrow. Thanks, guys. We'll do it again next week with all of you. Thanks for listening. This is Media Mash. Tell all your friends. Have a good night.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!